Why do we pay Māori Party co-leader Debbie Ngarewa-Packer $200,000 of taxpayers' money to lead the party, to co-lead the party? We will never get it back.
Duncan, the problem is that the Human Rights Commissioner is all over the place. And we've had decades of this. David Seymour's calling for the end of the Human Rights Commission, and I certainly concur with that.
Are we paying these people to front up, or are we paying them to fly to Wellington to eat their lunch? Should you really lose your career for refusing to take part in a 90-minute lesson about Māori culture? This government doesn't actually have any idea how to get economic growth. Show us what you made of, Prime Minister.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.
The Māori Party continues to hate white people. This time the bile is coming from Debbie Ngarewa-Packer, who has just so much hate the co-leader. She's lost the plot, and if she's a role model for young Māori, then I'm either the Pope or we're truly stuffed. We'll have more on this shortly.
Duncan Garner, live.
Right, good evening, folks. Welcome to the program. You're with the Editor-in-Chief, and I'm Duncan Garner. Good to have you along tonight. Should you be sacked from your day job for joining a Destiny Church protest? Don't get me wrong, I'm no fan of Destiny, but losing your job because of your associations with a church and a moralising Christian cult, I think is dangerous. It's a dangerous precedent. We will ask, should a radio host have been sacked for turning out with Destiny at their latest protest? As always, subscribe, hit the button there. Please click the like button and get in touch with our social media at Duncan Garner Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or flick me an email at duncan@rover.nz.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Okay, so why do we pay Māori Party co-leader Debbie Ngarewa-Packer $200,000 of taxpayers' money to lead the party, to co-lead the party? We will never get it back. And I want you to have a look at this. I'll bring it up now and have a look at this. Because the messages and vibes that she's sending to young Māori are actually dangerous. This is the latest thing that she put out today. And she should be the subject of a race relations complaint, in my view. I don't want my kids following her messages of hate and separatism and death to the white man. I mean, look at this image here. And look what she says. This is an image of Māori basically killing Captain Cook. And she celebrates it. I'm also of the view that Māori, on the whole, don't want this either, and they're not impressed. But she appears unrepentant, and clearly she's missed the boat, and she's missed the shift in mood as well, I reckon. The Māori Party are failing to read the room. Leaders do not behave like this. This is the work of a deluded shit-stirrer who does not have the interest of New Zealand or wider New Zealand at heart. The Māori Party, I don't think they've been constructed for a very long time. And they're not achieving anything for Māori. Now I know why her MPs like Takatu Ferris are so dismissive and so arrogant and so rude about white people, because it comes from the top. Indoctrination, that's what it is. The Māori Party leadership is officially angry and looking backwards. It's time to move on, folks. What she's done today, I think, is a disgrace. It's doing nothing but stoking and fueling poor race relations in this country. I detest this form of overt racism and this type of politics, and I urge New Zealanders to call her out. This is a party now seriously weighed down and blinded by the growing chip on their shoulder that makes the iceberg, the Titanic, seem pretty small. You know? They should be subject to a full inquiry by the Human Rights Commission, but they're useless as well. Racism comes in all forms, and it comes from those on the left as well. But so often the media is too weak to give it a free pass, because that's how low their standards have gone. So they give it a free pass. That's how their bias works. They can't possibly see what is wrong. And this post from Ngarewa-Packer today, have a look at it again, says that today we celebrate an Indigenous love story that is taking down a coloniser who brought nothing but disease and death across the Pacific. My goodness. So we celebrate the death of a white man. Great. We celebrate the death and the beating and the murder of a white man who colonised New Zealand. Promote beatings and death to the white man. I can't believe it. She's the co-leader. I don't need to say much more. But harmonious race relations appear to be the last thing that this woman wants. I don't think she's no longer a player in our process. She's actually a threat to the stability of democracy. And trust goes out the window with people like this. I think she's proven herself to be a woeful role model today. And she needs to work out where she's best placed to serve. MMP is about cooperation, finding common ground, etc., that sort of thing. But this party's moved away from that. This Māori Party has turned militant. And they've turned their backs on ordinary Māori, ordinary people. Do the Māori Party represent the hopes and dreams and ambitions of Māori? I say not in a million years. To pitch a line from Helen Clark, they're wreckers and haters. And what's worse is they are now reading the room so badly. This is not what New Zealand wants. Chris Hipkins suddenly has got a major problem, I reckon. He's surrounded by a militant coalition partner, or two of them actually, that will do nothing for his general popularity. His continued silence makes him complicit. What are you going to say, Chris? To Deborah Ngarewa-Packer, New Zealand needs to forge ahead. We need positivity because we live here now as well. And there are tons of us, and like you, we're not going anywhere. So expect pushback and expect a fight, but I won't let my country descend down this path of separatism and anger and violence towards each other. If you don't accept that, then you're free to leave. I say shame on you.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, that's my views. Well, Isaac, am I being too harsh on her? I just think I don't know. She can do better than that, surely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look what it's
I'm
promoting,
coming
mate.
from a perspective that is different to that of Debbie's, but it just seems hate breeds hate, man. Like,
It does,
there's no
Well
other
said.
real way to put that.
Yep. See, that's angry. You see, that's anger. The first thing she did when she got up this morning was post that.
Yeah. There are. I'm reading the comments on the post that she made back on February 14th, which is Captain James Cook Day or whatever it's called. And a lot of them are talking about, for example, this one here just says, how about looking forwards instead of backwards?
Yeah.
And there is a lot of people in her comments just saying that it's not the kind of thing we should be worrying about. Which is cool to see.
She's a co-leader.
But it's a shame that someone so high up in leadership within our parliament and within our community is just celebrating.
She's got to move
something
on.
like that.
We've had okay, so it's been a couple hundred years since the treaty was signed almost, and we've got treaty settlements, and we're all trying to forge ahead and have positive relations. I don't think Te Pāti Māori wants positive relations. I don't think they want things settled. They're in grievance mode, mate. They're stuck in grievance mode. That's grieving. And that's the message. I don't want my kids who are Māori picking up on this stuff.
Yeah.
It just breeds violence, I reckon.
I think it's all a bit backwards.
Yeah, it is.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's unnecessary. This is the thing that's unnecessary.
Duncan Garner, live.
Right, should a radio DJ lose his job for attending a Destiny rally? Well, he has. Bailey Palala has been sacked from UFM for attending this rally last weekend. Remember, 2 weeks ago it was. I think it's a dangerous precedent. What's the law say? I think it's a very dangerous precedent. Could it happen to any one of us? Well, if it's happened now, it could happen any time. So we're joined now by Max Whitehead to talk about this employment specialist, and one I can recommend entirely. Now, Max, what do you reckon of this case? The reason I've come to you, mate, is because I'm concerned personally that someone goes to a rally and then the next week they lose their job. I mean, man, what sort of... Is this North Korea?
I know, it's really, really concerning for me as well. As somebody who deals with employment law every day of the week, as I do, this is an unjustifiable dismissal claim could easily come out of this. Do you know the Human Rights Act, Duncan, is specific? It says it's illegal to discriminate against a whole lot of grounds, which I would love to know why this man was dismissed. If it's for attending for some religious function, well, that's discrimination on religious grounds. Not allowed. If it's because of gender, you can't discriminate on that, so it's not allowed. And of course, protest. Well, everyone's allowed to protest.
Yeah.
So, do you know what he was dismissed for?
Well, I think it was being seen to be somewhere and bringing the company to disrepute is all I can think about. But yeah, okay. So they went up the stairs quite aggressively and stupidly. That was just the most dumb tactics you could ever do. But he's seen with his baby over his shoulder. So he could say, well, I don't control everyone else. You can't sack me for their behaviour. You must sack me for my behaviour. I think he's been tarred with the brush.
I do, definitely. Because Destiny Church is not the top of the pops at the moment, that's why somebody's dismissed him. And they're saying, and look, who cares? I mean, if anyone wants to protest, in my view, they should be allowed. Don't get violent, but certainly protest. Don't hurt somebody. But certainly you can voice your point of view, and you shouldn't be stopped from doing that.
And they knew.
And I think it's wrong of an employer to dismiss for it.
Yeah, I agree. And they knew that he was with Destiny because he'd been there a number of years as part of their youth leadership group. Now, so they knew, and they didn't sack him until then. So they've sacked him on the basis that he was at a violent protest. So he's been held responsible for that.
And look, I would love to take a personal grievance on this basis because the Human Rights Act does not allow it. But Duncan, the problem is that the Human Rights Commissioner is all over the place. And we've had decades of this. David Seymour's calling for the end of the Human Rights Commission, and I certainly concur with that. I mean, it's one of the most weakest departments we've got. And also they have a political opinions. They have a slant. You know, the Race Relations Commissioner has been the same. They come up with a certain slant which may be favouring one side or the other.
I agree.
And look, that's not on. It's just not on. So we got government departments against this poor person. We got now an employer who knows that he's got these authorities on their side, but the law's on his side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's really disgraceful the way he's been treated.
Yeah, so the days leading up to this, he was obviously stood down, so they stood him down. And his co-hosts were on air saying, oh, well, we're really embarrassed, about this, and there'll be some progress in the coming days on legal and workplace grounds, but we can't say too much. But we just want to say to all the LGBTQ plus 53Y9s that we love you all, we love diversity, and we're so sorry about our workmate, and we're going to sort him out. They were doing this before he was sacked.
Ah, well, I mean, it says it all. It says it all. It really, that show that he was on obviously have a political view about these sort of things, and obviously that's the slant they've taken because he's opposing that view. He's gone. Now, look,
so bad, Max. It's so bad.
Duncan, even you, I know that's not very often, but occasionally I might have to disagree with you.
Yeah. Cool.
But, mate, I consider you a damn top bloke. And with that, let you have an opinion because you are my friend. And I like people with an opinion rather than fence sitters.
But what did he do wrong? Okay, so I thought they were thugs, to be honest. I thought as a group they looked like thugs. They were waiting on the stairs and they were barging into that room, and the women and children were scared. I get all that. But did he do that? Because if you look at the footage, it's not obvious. You only see him with his kid over his shoulder. Now, unless they've seen something else, Max, and he's brought the company to disrepute, I suppose that's grounds, isn't it?
Well, I mean, storming up the stairs, was that a breach of any law or any... Was he getting physical, Duncan? I really don't know. If they were punching somebody to hell, I certainly wouldn't be for it and saying maybe he did. If he's doing that on national TV, particularly,
not great. But we don't
not
have
acceptable.
I've looked at the footage. I can't find him being aggressive anywhere. All I can do is see he's holding his baby. He's clearly got morals and values that differ from others. He's clearly more conservative, and as a Pacific Island young lad, I'm sure many of them are, because that's how they're brought up with the church and everything. And I think because this is a Pacific Island radio station, I think they'll be torn within there too, because these are conservative Christian people. That's their traditions. That's where they come from. So they won't all agree with drag queens and so forth running around reading books. But this guy, because he's not the political topic of the day. He's not like Greenpeace, or he's not in with Posey Parker. He's not in with the gay and lesbian community up there. No one was sacked up there. Posey Parker's rally, no one was sacked for that, and that was violent.
And that's right, and that's because it was political. And look, we're seeing this in our society more and more, where actually it is who's in charge of the day has the political favour, but we're seeing it in the judiciary as well, which worries me sick, is that we see more of the, should I say the word woke, but certainly many of the decisions coming out of the employment judiciary is taking that slant on things, ignoring the law which may say opposite, and giving determinations and decisions which are really on and more in favour of whatever their political views are.
Yeah.
Now, it's almost like social engineering when we got the judiciary actually going the same way. That, Duncan, is very concerning for a little country like ours, because they'll have a huge effect on the rippling right through our whole society.
You see, this is the thing. What if
I
would have joined
here
yesterday?
in droves,
I agree.
Because
they're
it really must be awful for them.
They're out of here, Max. They've had enough of this stuff. They've had enough of this division, the separatism, all that sort of stuff. And on this, I always thought you could join a movement of freedom of association under New Zealand law. It's clear in the employment contracts. It's clear everywhere that we have a right to protest. Imagine the Springbok tour. Imagine all those people that were fighting for anti-apartheid. Imagine if they went into work on the Monday and got sacked because they were seen hurling tomatoes or whatever at people,
Freedom of association is built into the Bill of Rights for New Zealand, foundation document of our country, and that the laws are built on it. But look, what are we doing? I'll just brush that aside for now, and let's go off of something that's more leans to my political views.
Yeah.
Look, we quite often see the judiciary having two different laws which are in conflict of each other. Now, that does happen. So we'd look to a higher court to actually say which one takes precedent over the other. And this does happen and could well be. In fact, it's not in this particular case. I can't see anything else here except bringing them into disrepute, and I don't see that anywhere written in law anywhere.
Well, Debbie Ngarewa-Packer, who's the Te Party Māori co-leader, today she's posted an image of all these Māori warriors a couple hundred years ago stabbing with their spears Captain James Cook, who's falling to the ground, and she says, all power to the Māori, and basically, death to the colonials, and we celebrate this today. She said, we celebrate this today. Now, hang on, that's poor taste. That's offensive. Now, is she going to get sacked by anyone at parliamentary authorities?
Well,
no, of course not.
Again, Duncan, look at the law. I mean, it says that under the Crimes Act that's probably a breach of law.
Hate
it's
speech.
provoking people to get violent. And there's any consequences, you're dead right. There's nothing. Because why? I don't know. You tell me why. Because it's the political flavour of the week, and it's just
the mood's changed.
Unacceptable.
I think the mood's changed, and I think the Māori Party's not reading the room very well, because Pākehā New Zealanders are sick of this. They're sick of it. Somehow that we don't have a place in this country, and it's stemming from Debbie Ngarewa-Packer all the way through there. And I think we should call it, and I am today. I'm calling it on this podcast. If she's a hater and a wrecker. She's got no place in New Zealand, because we don't want to go down that path. I think we need to be
Duncan,
brave.
call a plural here. It's not just you that's calling it. It's us.
Yeah.
I am with you here. And I'd say that there's hundreds of thousands of the silent majority out there who are with you. And it's the minority we keep hearing from, and that's the minority that the media are going to, except for good people like you who are actually listening to the reality of our population, what they really want.
Well, hence why I came to you today, because I wanted to get an employment take on this guy. Here you have a political leader, death to the white man or whatever, and yet she just waltzes through and gets lots of likes on her thing until she sees my podcast. And then you've got this guy who's lost his job for turning up at a. Now, I don't know this guy. I don't care for Destiny. I think they're strange and it's a cult. But I'm looking at it from a factual point of view. I think it's a dangerous, scary precedent to sack someone for turning up to a protest. He wasn't to know it was going to turn like that either.
No. I wonder if he joined the Salvation Army and turned up to go against what was going on down there. But would there be the same sort of reaction to it? But certainly it's a slanted view of it. Now, look, what our own society needs to do is have people who can accept having arguments with each other and not taking it, getting all upset and violent and taking actions like this. Look, we've just seen a minister resign today. Yeah. I'd love to know the bottom line of that one, because I'm starting to think that sometimes the public servants are pulling the strings of our elected officials and using every opportunity they can. But look, that's probably another story.
He put his hand on a staff member.
Off track a bit.
He put his hand on a staff member. Now, that's arguably the accusation around Kamal Santa Maria from TVNZ, and you can't go around in 2025 placing hands on, no doubt, a female staff member. You can't do that. I mean, you wouldn't do it, Max. I wouldn't do it. A Minister of the Crown did it, and he should have known better because, well, he's got a bit of history there, right?
He should know better, and it's my generation. I mean, he sits in my generation. They're the ones, the pale, stale males that are really a bit naive on this, because we were manhandled right through our careers until the last probably 10, 15 years. But he should have known better not to manhandle anybody. But what I'm going to say, you've got to give somebody a break from time to time. And is that enough to have someone touch you on the shoulder? I don't know if touch or clutch or actually use more violence. Yeah. But that's not enough, from my view, for someone to be have to resign. Amanda Gillies
on the AM show would tap my bottom before we went into the studio every morning. Now,
what's special about your bottom?
Well, it was rather big, and so she got plenty of cheek. And I suppose, well, looking back at it now, I'm not going to complain.
I got the double meaning of that.
Yeah, I see. I had a rule, you see, back in those days. Sexual harassment won't be tolerated, but it will be graded. And hers was a 9 out of 10 every morning. You're whacking me, but so it's allowed. It's allowed the other way.
It is.
You know?
Exactly, it is.
I never did say that. Never did.
Females today, what I've seen from my worldly experience is that we see sexual harassment from females constantly, and they do it to each other, and they actually do it to males, but there's no consequences. But us males, if we step out of line, we're in deep trouble.
I tell you what, Max,
particularly
I've
if you're
become a
getting a
very
bit older
straight
and you're a
man.
bit pale.
I've become very straight in my dealings with everybody. Yeah, very straight.
What a shame, Duncan.
Yeah,
What a shame.
I know. Don't worry. We can have fun when the cameras are off. Now, the thing is this. With just a final word on this. I think he needs representation, this guy. I think he needs representation. He needs legal or employment help.
Well, there you go. There's an offer out here from Max Whitehead. If he wants to get in touch with me, I certainly would like to have a little bit of a talk with him and see what he's up to. Duncan, so often I get people who ring up, want to know whether they're in their rights or they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I will tell them bluntly and carefully what I think in regards to the law. But at the end of the day, they can make their decision. But Duncan, what I see a lot of Kiwis doing is just backing away shyly and saying, "Oh, I don't think I want to scrap."
Yeah.
And do you know what? Because I can't guarantee them we can win.
No, but I tell you
might
what,
have a good
the
chance.
worker has a good chance these
I
days.
can't guarantee it because the judiciary are all over the place at the moment. They're not consistent.
What did this guy do wrong? What did he do wrong? Someone tell me. What did he do wrong to lose his career?
Somebody tell me as well, and that's why I'd like to talk to him. But again, I bet you, particularly Pacific Islanders, what I find with them, and I shouldn't pick out a whole community of them, they would rather just back away gracefully and humbly go away. And look, I must admit, and the Chinese community are much the same. And that's a damn shame when some people need to be taught a lesson about life. And that life is that, hey, this guy has not been treated fairly here.
Max, we'll leave it there. Brilliant performance. Nice to see you again, mate. You don't look a day over 30.
Good to see you
You're aging
again.
well. You're walking everywhere. You're fit. You're healthy. I love that. It's great.
Thanks again for having me on, Duncan.
Cheers, Max.
Cheers, man.
Okay, mate. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, Isaac. I mean, yes, Christchurch producer Isaac, if you turn up to a rally, religious group or whatever you choose, you don't expect to lose your job, the next day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Destiny Church is an absolute can of worms.
It doesn't matter, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. And in Venice, I wasn't there. Obviously, I don't know what happened. I have heard that there was potentially some violent protesting going on, which is always a no.
Yep.
And so again, I didn't see what was happening. I have no idea what people have seen.
Was
or
he
what
just
they've
part
heard,
of it though? Was he just part of the? He was seen to be
so
at the violent.
I think that's the big question at the moment. So yeah, not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It sets precedents though. And what about on the other side of the coin? Did anyone get sacked from attacking Māori Party crew? At that rally? Was anyone sacked from their job? No. Anyway, that's us. Thanks for your feedback and support. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button there and make sure you get in behind us. It helps us all. Get in touch with our social media, Duncan Garner Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, or flick us an email at duncan@rover.nz. My voice, I know. She's a bit, is it horse or husky? Horse.
I'd say it's horse,
with an
mate.
A.
Husky means it's a bit more sexy, At the moment, it's just horse, bro. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, well, you don't think it's the other one? No? Okay. Call me horse. Okay. To my team, the man, I appreciate it, mate. Thanks for everything you do. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Remember, life's not just rehearsal. There's no curtain raises, not even a voice. This is it. We live in one of the best places on earth. So get out, make the most of it, enjoy it, and have a great rest of the day. Take care.
Duncan Garner, live.